too. You get out of it. Planning and zoning.
You can go over my head. I was playing, but see my appreciate it. Here, Jen, I'll pass that. Here you go.
Huh. No, I didn't get that one at all. Anything like it?
Make sure you got the right email address for you.
Could be. Well, I got the plat.
Throughout the time they're making
Copy of the
ordinances,
plat of it.
Yeah, but the one they sent
they're gonna be the ones that you.
the same copy.
Sometimes you have to review signed ordinances and things like that.
Yeah.
Mostly this.
And then,
I came by and looked at the big one here
did you, okay?
this morning.
Okay.
I've got it all right here.
Ready?
Are we ready? Is this on?
Should be.
I can't hear.
Testing? Yeah, I think we're on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hour of 4 o'clock has come and passed. Can everybody hear me? Do you want to hear me? All right. 4 o'clock, Tuesday, April the 23rd, 2019, in the municipal building, the regular meeting of the Salado Planning and Zoning Commission is in session. If I understand correctly, by the way, my name is Tom McMahon. I've been asked to sit in the in the middle seat here for today only to fill in. My understanding is that we first open it up to public comments. If any of you have anything that you would like to address with this this board on any topic other than the topic on the agenda for today, then now's the time to do it. And you just come up and introduce yourself if you on any subject that you like, I guess. And I see no takers. I do have one. If you will introduce yourself and tell us where you live.
Is it on?
Yes.
Judy Fields, 818 Blaylock Circle, Salado, Texas. As president of the Salado Historical Society, I am currently in the process of doing a form for people that would like to make changes or whatever and build in the historic district. It would simplify the process, particularly for Chrissy, when she has to present this to you all, to say what the building is, why they're going to build it this way, and it is in with keeping of what we want to do here in our historic area in the village. So that's currently on the works, and hopefully not this meeting, but the next meeting, we will have approval by the board of such form. I appreciate y'all's interest in the historic district. We want to keep this village as precious and historic as we can. In fact, there was a lady that came in from San Antonio, and Chadley called me from the tourism department. She did a rather extensive videoing of the Salado Village, and she said she's from the San Antonio Chronicle and the NBC affiliate on tourism down in San Antonio, and she said people say, "What's Salado?" We pass it going down 35, going up to Dallas or Waco, or back going to Austin. That's not what we want. We want to really promote the village as a historic destination point for everybody to come and see. So I think this is one of the first steps. She was very pleased and very impressed with Salado and its people. So we want to continue to do that. So when y'all do your planning and zoning, we want to help you out as much as we can with the historic district. So if you have questions, Chrissy has my phone number, and we'd be delighted to answer any questions that we can. And it has to be with our board approval. It's not just me. In the past, it's been a little miscombobulated. So I'm trying to get it organized to where we have a smoother flow. When people do have requests to work or build or have something different within the historic district, we are able to help you make a better decision yourself. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for the Historical Society. Thank you. We appreciate your input, and we will be calling on you.
Yes, sirs, and ma'am. I'm Darlene Walsh, and I live at 1110 Mill Creek Drive. No, excuse me, yes, 1001. We just moved. 1001 at Mill Creek Drive, Salado. We've lived here since 1993, and my husband is right over there, Mike Walsh. He's retired Colonel, U.S. Army and ex-Marine. I just wanted to let you all know, and I'm sorry, Katie, you've heard this before, but since you have new members, I thought it might be important for you to know. I was here during the initial incorporation of town. Charlotte Douglas is a good friend of mine, and I was part of the group that established the first comprehensive plan and was on planning and zoning for 5 years. So I've sat in your seat. I understand your pain. And you're going to be making some difficult decisions. It's going to take a lot of hard work and study. You're not going to make everybody happy, but you'll do your best. And I just wanted to say that as a member of the first comprehensive plan and zoning that we established, and it was not easy. People were very upset about having people having any control over their property initially, because they'd all been used to doing whatever, whenever, however. But we as a group, and there were, it was Vic Means, Mike Cooper, myself, Jack's Barn, can't think of his last name right now, but a group of us that met for almost 2 years to do comprehensive plan and zoning. And our intent with the historic district was to make sure that we kept it as historic as possible. We have so many recognized state and federal historic sites in town, and we didn't want town to end up with the Golden Arches or the Burger King signs or the this or the that all over. It's true, the Exxon station and the Burger King were here before we did zoning, so we couldn't move that. But now that it's gone, really the way it has been with our comprehensive plan, you could not reestablish those things because we didn't want to see the Golden Arches or these other signs up and down Main Street, neon signs. We planned it to be on the other side of the highway or beyond the historic district, which goes from Fowler House to the very tip end of south of the Stagecoach is the historic site, historic district, along with Royal Street, Center Circle, in College Hill. So I hope that you all feel the same way, that you want to keep the history in Salado. That's what makes it charming. And that's why people come here, because it's unique and different from Belton or Temple or Killeen, anywhere else. I know my time is up. I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you and that I hope that you'll preserve what we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Got 13
Details
seconds.
again. This lady was here for 4 days. She stayed in bed and breakfast. She ate at our restaurants. She made videos, and she called me this morning, and she's so excited. It's going to be on YouTube, and it'll go into the social media. So we get a ton of free advertisement for our precious little village. So I'll inform y'all when it is finally put together and finalized, and she gets it done. She's going to let me know, and I'll let y'all know.
Thank you again. Anyone else? I guess that concludes the comments at this point. The consent agenda does not have any items on it, but I think it would be appropriate at this time to, although it is not a formal introduction, I would like to introduce our new members. We have 3 new members. I'll start with Paul Cox, Don Kraus, and Jim Hodgin. Welcome aboard, and my condolences to all of you. All right. I guess we are ready for the regular session. We have 2 items on the agenda. The first is a presentation, discussion, and possible action on a revised concept plan and associated waivers for Salado Mills, which is a plus or minus 94.1 acre, 91 lot residential subdivision located on Stinnett Mill Road in the village of Salado, the ETJ. The first item, I guess, under that, we'll have Chrissy tell us a little bit about what's on the docket.
Thank you, sir. Again, this is a revised concept plan for Salado Mills. Salado Mills is an existing subdivision in the ETJ on Stinnett Mill. It was originally approved by BOA on October 20th of 2016. As of right now, we have phase 1 and 2 that are existing. The concept plan revision is going to add 2 phases, a phase 4 and a phase 5. In doing so, what was previously phase 3 is going to become the future phase 4. Phase 3 is now going to be off of Ferguson Mill Road. It is a piece of property that the developer purchased after the original concept plan was approved. So that is why he is asking now to have this revision to include that land in the subdivision. What will happen is our subdivision ordinance says that you have to have 49 or less lots if you only have one entrance and exit. At this time, the subdivision only has 1, and so 8 lots out of the existing phase 2 are going to be replatted in a subsequent replat that the applicant is going to submit. That replat will include the lots that they're going to need to remove in order to get their lot count down for the new phase 3 that's being added in. So when all's said and done, phase 2 and 3 will have the 49 lots, which is what's required. They're also going to replat some drainage tracts and make those part of the homeowners association. So that's going to be included in that replat that we'll see forthcoming just after the concept plan's approved. It's going to include an additional phase 5, and those are going to be 2 lots that are actually going to front Stinnett Mill. So those will be 2 lots at the top of the subdivision that you see kind of off by themselves. The engineer has reviewed the plat or the concept plan and found it to be in conformance except for section 3.1K of the subdivision ordinance, which states that offsets between intersecting streets shall be no less than 150 feet. If you will look at the plat, you will notice that the offset of Ferguson Mill Road and Indian Mill Road is approximately 75 feet. I'm sorry, I do not have I have a larger plat at the bottom, but on your paper right here, and I know it's very hard to see, Ferguson Mill is the existing road that comes in to the subdivision. Indian Mill is this it's a 900-foot cul-de-sac that is going to connect to Ferguson Mill. Indian Mill is the new street. And if you'll notice where it intersects with Ferguson Mill, there is a 75-foot offset. Our ordinance requires 150 feet. So in order for this to be approved, the developer would need a waiver from the Board of Aldermen. So as a Planning and Zoning Commission, you're a recommending body to the Board of Aldermen in regards to the waiver and the overall concept plan approval. If and when the concept plan is approved, we anticipate that the developer will be submitting the replat of phase 2 quite quickly, and then also submitting the preliminary and construction plat for phase 3, the new phase 3. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have at this time. I know it's a lot because we're moving around some lots and we're doing some shifting. So I'd be happy to answer any of those questions.
Any questions from anybody up here?
From
Yeah.
the, I'm sorry,
Go ahead,
Tom.
no, go ahead.
From the perspective of the ETJ that Salado's got, so what this is an ETJ, it's not within the village boundary, correct?
Correct. So the village does have jurisdiction over our ETJ because the plan sometimes is that potentially this subdivision could one day be in the city. So that's why cities have the authority to regulate subdivisions which are in their ETJ.
Okay.
Now, the only thing that doesn't apply is because this is in the ETJ, our ordinance at this time does not require parkland dedication. And so it's not required.
Okay,
But
thank
they
you.
do need to meet all of the requirements of our subdivision ordinance.
Thank you.
I can't read this plat obviously very well.
I understand, yes, sir.
The, where that street turns
Mm-hmm.
and then immediately turns back to the right, that's what,
That's the-
75 feet?
That's the offset, that's the 75 feet. So our ordinance requires that that would normally be 150 feet. You would not
Correct.
make
I
that turn
understand
that
that.
quickly, yeah.
So that lot that it is affected by taking that little, it looks like it took a little section out of that corner of that lot. Is that, obviously if a house is built on that property, they're gonna have to go out toward their front for their driveway. How
Well-
wide is that front of that lot
Are-
that faces the street to the north?
Okay. The lot that the street runs through is being taken away as a lot altogether. That is going to be where the street, right now, that is an existing lot, but that's going to go away, and that's where the street connection is going to be made. On either side of that lot, there's going to be HOA maintained tracks.
Can you point this out to us all over the map?
Yes.
Is that white section?
If you'd like to come down, what I'll
Yeah.
do is we'll take a look at the big map, and I'll come and
please.
show y'all. So, as this, wait for Mr. Kraus. This isn't going to be a lot right here.
This will not be a lot.
Well, this will be.
Oh, so it's gonna stop right here?
Right, so this is the lot, and so what will happen is this right here will be an HOA tract. See that right there, HOA tract? And then this right here is gonna be an HOA tract. So, like a little green space, right? So right now, in the existing phase two, this is a lot. But with the revision and the replat, they're gonna bring back a replat. That replat is gonna take this lot out and make the street connection. And so this will be a lot, and this will be a lot, but this will not be a lot anymore.
This will be.
This will be, and so,
And the only way they can, their driveway's gonna be right here in this curve.
correct, which it already was. It was already in the curve, because this is all existing. So this is already in existence.
Yeah, this street now stops here.
This is a full
You
street.
can drive down here, but this is just here.
This is just a lot. So this lot is already an approved lot. We're not even really looking at this lot. This is already filed and approved. It already meets all of our subdivision requirements for lot frontage. Okay? This is a lot. And then all of the existing lots in phase two already meet all of the subdivision ordinance
So there we go.
Um,
50.
50-foot rights of way.
Pavement is not that long.
28 feet. Yes, sir.
This is 900 feet. To an intersecting First Street.
At some point, this may be built out and the road will be extended. The plans have been completed for, well, phase 2 is constructed. Phase 5, the plans are complete, but it has not been constructed. The plat was approved, construction, correct? Okay. So all of this has been previously approved and designed, and we just come back and try to tag that. But because of the phasing number, we want to slide into this phase 3.
Or reorder their construction.
The only access in right now is this one.
Yes, sir.
So in the future, there'd be one back here.
There'll be 2, yes, sir.
They would have to because they're going to be 49
Where
lots.
does this go to?
Stinnett Mill.
Stinnett Mill, okay, well, I say Stinnett Mill, but it's just into that.
Yes, we live right here, so we've been watching this thing go up for the last couple of years. And we drove back here yesterday, took a look at the whole thing. You know, so that's why I know that the street doesn't exist right here right now.
You know, I like this better than that. This is so much easier.
Almost friendly.
Close.
This is the 75-foot offset right here. So our ordinance
Let's keep moving
would
out.
require 150 feet before we turn onto this road. But this lot is sold, so
And I know absolutely nothing about how these things are done. And I know you can't do this very easily, but it seems to me that you could make this street just that and not require to have variance. Or is that not possible to do?
No, well, I'd have to change the right of way on this lot to do that, to make that. And then it's going to sweep in, which will make this have to adjust and have to change the right.
So it's more trouble than it's worth.
The geometry kind of messes you up, but the good thing is we only have a few houses on this cul-de-sac.
Right.
And then we just have a few houses on this cul-de-sac, so we'll have really long runs. And with it being a 90-degree turn, we're gonna have to slow down to move those turns.
This is not an acceptable.
correct, that was an existing.
So will it ever be built on?
It's already built.
Or it already exists.
Okay, there's, you know, there's 2 houses, but prior to development, there was a residential home.
There's not even a
I was looking for that HOH tract, and we pulled the drainage easements out and created them as an HOA tract. Because the burden of keeping up the drainage channels were on the individual property owners and not us on the site.
I'm not, it's somewhere here.
That's not on there.
Yes, sir.
this will be constructed, and it would definitely have a circular walk.
This is Ferguson Mills.
So,
And it stops at the cul-de-sac.
right,
So that's the through street, if you want to call it.
that would be my guess, and this would be the offsets for the cul-de-sacs. So, right now, it is a one-way thing, one-way out. So, it's,
You're actually maximum 49 lots for a single entity.
thus the shift in the shuffle, now we're back in person.
It seems to be that this is really pushing the emphasis, 49 lots on 49 maximum. Reducing the offset 50%. Or up to the minimum. That was not a suggested number. This would be ideal. This is a minimum offset of 150 feet, and now you're actually reducing by half. And my point, I guess, is was the other side of the offset of the offset. That was the guideline you put in there for a reason. I don't know if this is, maybe you do. How big a deal is it?
It's based on traffic counts, Jim. High traffic counts, and a larger offset to every person's time to stop, to look both directions, and to exit. The way this was set up is, really the only people that are back there are the people that live here. If it was a through street and more of a, almost maybe a major collector, instead of small, dead end residential subdivision, I wouldn't agree. But due to the limited traffic count, we're okay. And then there'll need to be some sort of stop signs in place within the subdivision. I would definitely put one here to stop this traffic prior to continuing and one here. So, do some type of traffic continuation control.
These lots are big enough.
Can we move the discussion to the dais so that the public can hear the discussion? Yeah.
Those lots are big enough, I don't think you should be blocking any view from that corner.
No, that would like to protect our interests.
Yeah, right, this part right here. Thank you very much. Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
I don't think so.
So just as a recap, I'd like to explain what happened down there since we did leave the dais. The map was considerably bigger on the table, so we went down there and the developer showed us which lots were sold and why the offset was suggested to be at 75 feet and why they're requesting their variance. He also explained the need for the new phasing, and as I did before, with the addition of the property in the back. So we just wanted y'all to know kind of what was discussed at the map. And then if y'all have any more questions for the developer's engineer, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer those.
For the record, Monty Clark, Clark and Fuller, 215 North Main Street, Temple, Texas.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
And then if y'all would like any other questions of myself, if not, if the chairman would like to entertain a motion, then y'all can go into discussion.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve this variance, subject to proper traffic control with stop signs and clearance of that one lot corner where make sure it's not, does not impede the view around that curve. I don't know how you can do that, but you know, there's very few houses at the end of that. It's not gonna have any through traffic, because there's no, you don't go anywhere except those homes. So I don't have a big problem with the rest of it. Anyway,
All
that's
right,
my
the
motion.
motion's been made.
If I may clarify, Mr. Cox, are you then motioning to recommend approval of the concept plan and the waiver to the Board of Aldermen?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion?
I'd like to hear more details, if you don't mind coming back up to the podium, about the geometry involved or whatever is involved in changing that offset angle so that it's just a slight curve instead of a turn like it is.
Okay, to my knowledge, those lots are either under contract or have been sold. In order to adjust the geometry of the roadway, I've got to adjust the rights of way. To do that, that pushes me into those lots. And the layout that you have, it was hard to work out on a computer. We felt the 90 degrees were better than trying to do some type of a sweeping radius. The 90 degrees will force traffic to slow down with the way the intersections are aligned. There's limited number of residences at this part in the subdivision, so it will limit the amount of traffic that comes in and out of that part of the subdivision. So with the low traffic count, with the 90-degree intersections, we feel that we can come back in with stop signs and force people to stop at that intersection to slow traffic down to make it safe for cars to ingress and egress out of that part of the subdivision. Did that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, the main road actually, what is it, Ferguson?
Ferguson Mill?
Yeah, is the one that goes straight up to that short cul-de-sac. That's a different road that goes off to the side.
Right.
So if they have to stop coming to Ferguson, then that pretty much, I think, solves that problem.
And
Because
we've got a green area on both sides of the new street going in, Indian Trail, right?
Correct.
Got a green area there and probably a lawn for the house on the other corner. So we've got good vision all the way around, right?
Yes, the other is if I sweep that curve and I make it a nice smooth curve, that's a nice long sweeping road that people are going to want to rush and hurry. With more of the 90-degree intersections, it slows people down. They're going to have to slow down to make those corners. And so we just felt that with that, it makes it safer for that part of the subdivision at that intersection. So I didn't want to turn it into a racetrack back there.
I know you're not part of the HOA, but is on-street parking, do you know if on-street parking is allowed?
I apologize, I can't answer that question.
Okay,
I don't have copies of the HOA documents.
okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
I have a, would it be possible, looking at the map here, would it be possible to place a stop sign just prior to the curve? So instead of placing it at the intersection exactly, place it back before the curve. What I'm seeing is people coming down Ferguson Mill and around there, and I think there's a potential here for an accident, especially with kids on bikes or whatever else you got running around down there.
What we would do is we'd follow the manual on uniform traffic control devices, which kind of governs all the U.S. and TxDOT, and cities take guidance from those. We would place the stop signs at the intersection, but then usually about 100 feet, don't quote me on that one, at some point kind of west of the intersection before they reach the curve, there would be an upcoming stop sign warning sign so that they know that there is a stop sign ahead. So there, instead of just 2 signs at the intersection of that, or 3 signs at the T intersection, there's also going to be a warning further to the west on Ferguson Mill to warn people, hey, you do have a stop sign up ahead. You need to slow down and be aware that it's there. And that's how I'd approach that one. That's how I plan on approaching it.
so are you going to make that a 3-way stop?
Well, it will be, or it'll have to be. I don't know if we need a stop sign for the short cul-de-sac because there's only 4, maybe 5 houses.
Well, but they're going to be leaving, so they're going to be
You'd have a stop sign for
picking up
probably
speed
3 hours.
as they come down that cul-de-sac.
Correct. But
What's the speed limit in there?
generally, a residential street is 30 in the village.
Just as a reminder, this is in the ETJ, so Bell County will be setting the speed limit. Bell County will be maintaining the streets. Bell County will be installing the stop signs and traffic control devices. These are going to be county-maintained streets, correct?
Correct.
Thanks. Anybody else?
Question?
All right, the question's been called.
Thank you.
Would you make the motion again, please?
Motion is that we approve the modification to the subdivision plat and to the variance, subject to stop signs, at the intersection in question.
Okay.
Yeah, the motion's been made and seconded.
Seconded,
I don't
so-
change it.
All in favor? Passes 4-1. Next.
So just as a recap, what I'm going to recommend to the Board of Aldermen is that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended 4-1 to approve the concept plan changes along with the waiver, contingent on proper traffic control devices being installed.
Perfect.
Okay. The second item on the regular session agenda is a presentation, discussion, and possible action on a proposed accessory building in the historic district located at 602 Old Town Road, 3.15K community process.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. We do have an applicant, the owners at 602 Old Town Road. They own the kind of strip center right there. They have an existing accessory building in the back. They're requesting to be allowed to place another accessory building of the exact same size, the exact same materials, next to the one in the back. It's going to be used by the olive oil company that's their tenant there for some extra storage. The plans you have before you, it is the one that I've kind of highlighted in orange. The one beside it is the one that's existing. It is going to be made out of a natural wood material with a tin roof. It's going to match the one that's there. Those are both allowed materials in the historic district. It is going to meet the setbacks required by the zoning ordinance, so it meets all of those requirements. I was in contact with Judy Fields, the president of the Historical Society, last week. I did have an opportunity to speak with her about it, and although she did not have the opportunity to speak with the rest of her board, she felt like this one was in keeping with the Historical Society guidelines and did not see any problems with it. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
It seems to me to be pretty hard to deny. Since there's one already there.
Yes, I'm going to clarify something. Yes, Ms. Fields would like to say something in regards.
Although we don't have a formal vote from the board, I did put it out on the email asking if anybody had any objections, and through the informal way I had to do it because I knew y'all were in a time crunch. I didn't have any negative reports from any of the board members that responded to the email. We feel like that if they're matching what's already there, that it's acceptable to most of us. So, but that's not an official formal okay from the board. But that's just a general response through the emails.
Well, this building is not even visible from the street, is it?
It's not really, no. It's back behind. And it's matching what they already have, which had already been passed through another planning and zoning situation.
It looks like there's, if I'm reading this right, 5 feet, 5 inches between the two sheds. Is that correct?
Yes, it's going to be about 5 feet, 5 inches.
And where is the entry? Is it directly off the main building?
It is. So do you see that there's going to be like a connection
Oh.
where they're going to be able to just walk under in case it's raining.
Will
or-
that
or-
be enclosed or just have a roof over it?
No, it's just going to have a roof over it, not
Okay.
enclosed.
Okay.
Susan and I went by there yesterday with with our golf cart, drove around behind, took a look at it. It appears there's enough room, there's already a shed back there, you can't see it from the street. Can't recommend the shed from a beautification point of view, but it's there, it looks fine, it's well maintained, it doesn't look like it has any problems to us. So that was our conclusion. We just drove around our golf cart up back there and looked where they were.
I walked it this morning and came to the same conclusion. It can be seen from the,
Yes, if you really look.
from the exit from the highway, but not from the mill, not from the front. It cannot be seen there. And you've got to really look to see it from any place. So I don't think it's an eyesore. Anybody else up here? No? Anyone? I guess I should open it up to any discussion from anyone. Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion that we approve the proposed accessory building in the historic district located at 602 Old Town Road as per section 3.15K permitting process.
Okay. Further discussion? Motion's been made and seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, raise your hand. And that carries 5-0. It appears that we've reached the end of the agenda. Thank everyone for coming. Your participation is very important to us. We are a conduit of information and ideas and thoughts between the public and the Board of Aldermen. And your participation is vital to what we do. And thank you for coming and encourage your friends to do the same. That being said, the meeting is adjourned.